Alright guys, this is Johnson with Marshall Custom Models. It's come time to start working on the next Enterprise refit, and I've had a few requests on Facebook that if I could put some instructional videos up of tools and paints and things of that nature. So I've decided to put up a video of me starting the Enterprise. This will be one of many that I'm going to do. And in this video, I'm going to show how I prep the model before I do any type of construction paint whatsoever, and that is to wash the model. And this is important to give the paint the best chance of adhering to the plastic. Now, what I like to do at first is I like to clean the sink, and I do this strictly for OCD reasons, just to make sure I don't get any food or some type of liquid refreshment, something along those lines on the model. Once that's done, then I start filling up one half of my sink. And what I do is I use normal Dawn dish detergent, and all that does is it breaks down the viscosity of the water and allows the water to clean the model, because that's actually what's cleaning the model is the water, not the soap. And so I dump some soap in there, and I tend to use more warm water instead of cold or extremely hot. And that's simply because I'm going to be having my hands sitting in there, and I want to be comfortable while I'm doing this, because it usually takes a while. This is about a 30-minute process from wash to drying is what I do. So once the sink has been filled, I just start letting it, or once the soap has been put in, I start letting the sink fill up. And once it gets to a certain point, then I start going through the model to see what I want to put in, what I don't want to put in. Because as far as the refit goes, you're going to have to choose which pieces you want. But then also, I have a bunch of aftermarket parts that I will be working with, and I won't need most of the parts that come with the kit itself. So as I go through, I pull out what I need, and I throw the pieces right into the sink. And what I like to use is I use a normal dish sponge, something with an abrasive head, because I want to make sure that I can scrub the model. I don't want to scratch it. That's why I don't necessarily want to use the metal wire brush. Yeah, it's really good to get food off of pans, but it's not very good for models because it tends to scratch, not score. It's not bad to scuff the plastic. It'll actually help get it clean, and it'll also make sure the paint can adhere better. And as you can see, I'm just going through and I'm hitting it very fast. I'm not too terribly worried about it. I'm just wanting to kind of get it done. All I'm doing is getting the leftover residue from the casting process out, which is a release agent. They use that when they do forced casting such as this, where they force liquefied plastic into a mold. They need a release agent to get it out of the metal mold. And that's what I'm cleaning off right now, because some of it will get stuck to the model, and what that does is it makes it difficult for paint to adhere, and even sometimes for glue to adhere. And you will start noticing issues when you go to paint the model and you're pulling tape on and off. And so now I'm just going to go through the entire batch of parts, washing them, and I'm going pretty fast just to get it done. I'm just trying to get this done as soon as possible, because it doesn't need to have a whole lot of time spent on it. Now, one thing that I do prefer to do with the model is I tend to take a little bit more time washing the upper and lower portions of the primary hull. And I do that because when you get this model finished, the first thing people are going to look at when they walk in is right to the saucer, looking at the registration number, the bridge, and that's the part you want to make sure looks the absolute best. You want the whole model to look amazing, but that's the part you want to look the absolute best, because that's when everyone's going to look at it. And so I do spend a little bit more time cleaning the saucer. And once that's done, then I'm going to go through and drain the sink to get all the soap out of it, and I'm going to start rinsing all the parts. And with this, I do use cold water, because I've noticed when I use cold water and I get the soap off, it feels kind of not necessarily sticky, but it feels clean. It's hard to describe, but it feels clean. And that's how I know when I've got all the soap off of it. And as you can see, I put a towel down onto the counter, and that's so when I'm done washing the parts, I can put the pieces on the towel, because they will be dripping with water. All right, now once you get all the pieces out of the sink, what I do is I go over and I put a towel down onto a table and I start laying all the pieces out. I'll do a quick dry with a rag to try and get the majority of the water off, and then I lay it all down to try and let it air dry. I normally let the parts dry overnight because I tend to wash the parts late at night, and I don't necessarily feel like sitting there with a blow dryer drying the parts. I have used a blow dryer. It dries it very well and fast, but if you don't need to, I wouldn't recommend it, simply because it's easier to let it sit out. But now that's pretty much it. I'll just let it dry overnight, and then I'll grab it the next morning, and that's when I will start to do the construction on the model. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I will be putting up other videos of the build process on how I do things, and hopefully it'll help you guys out. Alright, enjoy.